Other DPS wasn't doing shit, bro. That he got one good old. We lost the whole thing. Yeah, it's quick plays only one side. Quick play. Oh, it is. Oh yeah.
Testing.
Man, that fucking angel was fucking us up, dead ass.
I won't officially go live for another minute 15.
That other DPS was trash.
Okay, well, I can go.
Alright, so try competitive now, right? We good? Okay, well, I can go. Alright, so try competitive now, right? We good? 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 Alright, so try competitive now, right? We good?
What is that noise? What is that noise? Okay, stop. What is that noise? Okay, stop. What is that noise? Okay, stop. Testing. Alright, audio's good. I can close that. I'll just hang this up. Alright. Hey guys, we got a couple different projects we have to tackle tonight. I'm currently installing some cabinets for on a job site, and this is going to be the countertops. So I need to square up this edge because it has that rounded over profile. So I got to remove that on both of these pieces so they can be seen together. We need to sand them up, stain them, so I can actually put a teak oil finish on them in the morning before I go to do the installation tomorrow. So I have to get these done and prepped tonight. And then before I can actually get into prepping, I have a few more dowels I need to make. Not really so much need to, but the router table is still set up for the dowels. These are all the test pieces. So I might as well finish making dowels. This is my first initial test piece. It worked out, so now I switched over to doing the actual hardwood pieces. You guys probably aren't going to see YouTube for a while, but I just did some pop-up bench dogs out of mahogany and walnut. So I have the router table currently set up for dowels. I need to finish doing that, break down the router table, and then I need to sand up these butcher block countertops and apply a finish. Hey, how you doing, boss man? Greatly appreciate you for joining in. Tonight's really going to be a little bit of just kind of running around the shop. I have a bunch of stuff I need to do, and I'm about to turn the rest of these into dowels, and then I'm going to break down the router table, sand up these countertops, and then stain and probably put on some teak oil if I have time. Where this started off, I was making a bunch of dowels for those pop-up bench dogs, and so just so you guys know the process, these materials milled to a 3/4 by 3/4 inch square stock. I'm using a 3/8 inch round over bit, so 3/8 inch round over will give me a 3/4 inch dowel. The technique though is that you want to run it through the bit and stop. You want to leave a portion of your material still square on one end, so that way it doesn't spin on you while it's here at the router table. So I'm going to kind of knock out these last few dowels just to get that done, so that I can then break down the router table and get into the fun process of sanding and finishing. I just figured I haven't went live in a while, so figure I'll take today to try to, go live, but also knock out this process that I kind of got to get done anyway. router table, starting off with 3/4 inch stock. Pop-up bench dogs on my hand tool bench. And these are all the test pieces of scraps that I use to make up all the dowels. Essentially, I make the dowels out of hardwood, so before I make the hardwood dowels, I milled up a bunch of 3/4 by 3/4 inch iron scraps. And before I break down the routing table to continue on the rest of my process, I figured turn these into dowels before I break down the routing table and make it. Don't know how much you can hear over the router table and sander. Router table and vacuum. I'll try to explain a little bit better after I cut everything off. Yeah. We want to do this one. This was a big old knot, and I was able to snap it, so you don't want to run that through the router table. I might just cut this knot off and make a really short dowel, just so I don't throw this away. Oh yeah, they have 3/4 inch dowels, but again, I have a bunch of scraps around my shop, and I made like 3/4 inch dowels out of walnut and mahogany. So I wanted to have test pieces before I actually made them out of actual hardware. I've already done them, they're over there. This is just scrap 3/4 inch stock that I have left over, and I figured instead of throwing it away, make more dowels that I need for big dogs or various kids around the shop. I made some pop-up bench dogs. These are some of the leftover pieces from the walnut. You can't go buy walnut dowels. So again, I had some scrap hardwood. I wanted to make some dowels that were a little fancy. So that's what these came from. Alright. And yeah, not really a necessary process because again, you can't go buy dowels But for the pop-up bench dogs, for my hand tool bench, I wanted to use hardwood dowels. So before I made the hardwood dowels, because I had limited scraps of, walnut, mahogany, I had a bunch of pine scraps. So I had made a bunch of test pieces before I actually did my hardwood. Finished up all the hardwood, and I had all this pine still laying here. So before I broke down the router table, moved my fence and everything else, I wanted to go ahead and make the rest of these dowels. Because tonight, I have a butcher block countertop that I need to sand and finish for a job I'm doing. And I needed my large workbench available. I just didn't want to break down the router table until I had finished making all the dowels. So I'll leave that in there. Also, if you guys are in need of a quick and portable router table, I kind of copied this idea from Ron Paulk. It's a really simple one. Just a piece of 3/4 inch plywood and a router table insert. I just have a Craig one. You can also mount a router lift or anything else underneath that same simple router table. And drop the fence in there. All right. So, actually, let me throw this plywood into the back room. All right. So what the real mission for the day is to do this countertop. I have 2 butcher block countertops inside of my shop. I'm doing a set of cabinets for on a job site. And I need to, one, square cut off this end because it has that rounded over profile. So I can't seam them like that. Then I need to cut off this edge as well. Drill for the pocket holes. Sand and stain them so I can install them tomorrow. And back to the dowel situation. Why I made my own dowels was for my hand tool bench, so I can finally add some pop-up bench dogs. Something I've been kind of wanting to do for a while, but I made them again out of walnut and mahogany. And if you guys don't know what they're for, I can pop up the 2 dogs on my vise, 2 dogs out in the field, and clamp it down. And that board is now in place. And I can just as easily drop those 2 dogs back down beneath the bench, clamp that one in, or if I had a wider piece, pop this one up or whatever else. It just kind of, they were fun to do, and I can do this. Kind of like doing that. It's kind of fun. Oh. No, not in my trash can. You guys didn't see that. But yeah, it's almost like a fun mini game. Kind kind of like just popping them up. But yeah, that's why I was making dowels. But back to the part that it's going to be lots of fun. I need to square off both of these edges, get rid of the rounded profile, sand them, and then I just noticed, not sure if the camera's picking that up, I picked this up from the job site today, and there's a nice gouge right here, a lovely gouge right here, and another gouge like right here. They are going to be staining this in chestnut color. So what I think, because this is actually the pretty side. I flipped it over. The other side has all the knots in it, so you don't want to put that side up. But that side is smooth. No scratches or dings. But I can't really do anything else about that. What I'm going to try to do is how I seam it. I'm going to hope that the biggest gouge over there lands underneath the cabinets that I'm installing. Put it toward the back of the cabinet. And then after it's stained, hopefully a chestnut fill crayon will match it well enough to fill in the gouge. That's my plan. But the first step of that process is to get me a seamable corner here. So first thing I'm going to do is square cut both of these. Then I'm going to raise up this workbench to make sure they're in plane and see how that seam looks. From there, I'm going to flip it over, drill the pocket holes, and then we're going to go ahead and start sanding and prepping for the actual finish. It's getting installed tomorrow. I probably won't get the Tico finish on it. I'll probably only get it stained tonight, and maybe tomorrow before I go do the install, run around and try to do the Tico finish. Because how it's looking now, that might land. I want this toward the back, so this has to be the left-hand side. And I think the upper cabinet that would cover this is like 98. No, it's like 120 inches away. So there's no way for me to seam it to completely hide this. And I can't cut all this off and it still be long enough to do it, because I think it's like a 14-foot long countertop. So we had like 2 foot of waist. It should have gotten like a 12 and a 4. I mean a 12 and an 8. Then this had waist. And I would be able to put the seam directly underneath the countertops. I mean the other cabinets. But again, I am just a carpenter that has to deal with the decisions. Hey, you're back. So did you miss my explanation as to the dowels and why I didn't go to Home Depot? So I'll show you real quick before I get into this. You missed it? Okay, well, I was making pop-up bench dogs for my Hansel bench. And yes, you can go buy pine dowels. You can go buy oak dowels at Home Depot. But you can't go buy walnut and mahogany dowels. And I had a bunch of scraps laying around the shop. You know, being a woodworker, I come across a lot of scraps. So the pine dowels were originally just a test before I actually set up the router table, before I ran and made all of these. So I had a bunch of pine that hadn't been ran yet that were just sitting on the router table. And before I broke down the router table, I wanted to route out all that pine dowel material before I took down the router table, which is going to give me space. Oh, let me loosen up that camera so it can spin. So it'll give me space to sand and prep those 2 countertops. So I needed that router table gone. But I think these are really cool. They look nice. It's a great accent to the bench. And like I just showed them, because they're pop-up bench dogs, I can just pop them up, clamp this piece in, holds it nice and firm. If I have a wider piece, I can just pop up one of the other bench dogs and use my vise to help hold everything down. And they look nice. It's a good use of scraps, fun project, and I can do that. So that's why I ended up making my own dowels. All the pine dowels were just, again, test pieces before I ran the hardwood that I had. All right. back to the fun part. So the first step in this process, though, is because I cannot avoid the damage that's already on the slabs. Oh, did you just miss it again? No way. If you did, you can get one more shell. Did you miss it? Okay. Alright, so the first step in this process will be to actually square off both of these ends, because on a butcher block countertop they typically do a round over profile, and that round over profile wouldn't make for a nice seam, so you want to cut that off. And I'm going to try to, again, cut off as little as possible to give me more flexibility when I get to the job site. And I just made a mistake, actually. I meant to throw down a piece of tape, because I don't want to have any splintering on this. I don't need a piece that wide. That's also another tip if you guys didn't know. If you're cutting butcher block, plywood, pretty much anything that you're worried about is splintering, throwing down a piece of blue tape definitely helps. You could do the underside, but I don't really find it necessary because the circular saw blade the teeth are coming up as it cuts. So if it was going to splinter, it'll splinter out on the top and the back or the exit. It won't really splinter on the front side. So if you're cutting, my saw cuts right hand side, so this side needs tape to keep the blowout from happening. And then on this side, my saw is going to exit back here, so I want to make sure there's tape on this back side. All right, redraw those square lines again. And we're going to set up our MDF straight edge to saw this. Probably clamping it in place to avoid any mistakes or moves. I was debating if I was going to bevel it, but because it's a straight seam and not actually like a miter or at a corner, and for the method of assembly, I'm probably just going to go pocket screws with oversized holes to make sure that it can still move. Edge and clamp if I'm really worried about the tear out. The edge and clamp it. Oh, I throw a scrap block on the backside. Only got a minute, but I'm here to hang out. Hey man, appreciate you for coming in. And let me grab two of my clamps so I can actually clamp that track down to make sure it doesn't move. And then also confirm that it's square, because I wouldn't want it to move on me as I cut. Where are all my short clamps? These will do. And where you saying like you would clamp a block on the back side of it is. Oh no, this isn't live edge. This is just a butcher block countertop. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Definitely been working on trying to do more on the channel, which is why I'm trying the live stream thing. Figured gives me a chance to directly talk to you guys. And for one, on YouTube, you guys are slightly further behind than like Instagram and TikTok. It's like the pop-up bench dogs. You guys probably won't get that on YouTube for maybe a month and a half, give or take. So I figured by doing some of that on live stream, you guys will get a chance to see it. Yeah, a track saw is probably one of the last trim tools that I do not have. My biggest issue with that is which one to get. I love Makita. I love all Makita saws. So my thought process was I was going to get a Makita track saw. I had the 18 volt all Makita tools. Then they came out with the 40 volt. So I was like, if I get the Makita saw, I will want the 40 volt. I don't have anything Milwaukee. Milwaukee right now does have the best track saw next to Festool. But then I found Flex, which is actually probably my favorite battery brand out of all of them that I've used. They don't have a track saw yet. So making a decision on no, I'm cutting the edge, so right now the table saw will be a little tricky. Oh man, Makita track saw is 100%. Yeah, see, I didn't want to go corded. I wanted to go battery because I was thinking about the Makita. And the one other thing that stopped me from the Makita track saw was the fact that it doesn't have a riving knife. So my thought process was when it came down to like plywood and everything else, the Makita would be awesome. Great price point, amazing saw. But then without a riving knife, if I'm breaking down like thick hardwoods or anything else, that's why I think the Makita will become more of an issue because it doesn't have a riving knife. So Milwaukee was the best option because Festool doesn't even have a riving knife on it. And again, I am loving Flex tools. I have a bunch of them. So that's kind of the route I'm going. I'm just waiting for them to get more battery tools. You can use the Makita with... Yeah, again, the Makita track saw is definitely the one that I've been looking at for the longest. And if Flex does not come out with one, I've kind of just been biding my time. I'm giving them like 5-6 months because they just came out with the table saw and the miter saw. Those are both great tools. I have the table saw. I'm waiting to get the miter saw. So I figured since they did so well with those, give them a chance to come out with a track saw before I pull the trigger on one. Pecan is hard as fuck, but see now, let's say the pecan slab though didn't have a lot of tension in it. You know, if it didn't have any tension, it wouldn't bind on the blade. And just because of how I feel about the table saw and the riving knife, I think for a track saw, especially if I'm going to do any type of rough lumber, like if it hasn't been jointed, you know, the track might be sitting on the slab and then the slab itself might have a crown in it. So like just anything that can increase the tension on the blade, I would like it to have a riving knife. And being that it's a track, it doesn't have the anti-kickback. So the blade could bind, and not just something that, again, I haven't used the Makita track saw, but that's kind of just my thought process as to why I kind of didn't want to get it. But again, at this point, if Flex doesn't come out with one 5-6 months, I'm probably going to end up grabbing either the Makita or bite the bullet and grab a Festool. Don't want to do the Festool one because that one doesn't have a track either. I mean, it doesn't have the riving knife either, but it does have anti-kickback. My problem with the Festool is it doesn't have the anti-tip. So if I want to do like waterfall edges on countertops and stuff, it doesn't have the ability to lock into the track. Now, see, you said the DeWalt was underpowered. That's actually surprising to me. I had a ton of people say the DeWalt was plenty of power, but just terribly accurate with a weird plunge on it. You know, they had a little bit of slop and everything else in the blade. You know, you get like blade marks and everything else. But again, I haven't used a DeWalt. The only track saw that I've used personally has been the Festival track saw. But again, I'm just a buddy of mine who had one on the job site. I don't own one yet. So like, which one will I go with? Again, I'm hoping Flex comes out with one. If they don't, it'll probably be a Makita and or a Makita. I'm not gonna go buy a Milwaukee. I already have Makita battery, so it'll be a Makita or Flex, or go budget brand and just grab like a Craig corded one until Flex drops one. It's kind of the options I'm debating on. I used to walk away for jobs and it seemed to struggle. Now, did you have one of the Flex batteries on it? The big 9 amp hour Flex Volt batteries? Because those pretty much inside of any DeWalt saw, from what I've seen, it makes them the most powerful saw out there on the market for the most part, as far as their rear handle saw, the circular saw. The DeWalt just has more power than all the other ones. And again, for those of us without a track saw, this is a valuable option. Let's see, I think I done missed like 3 things. And again, when it comes, from my opinion on tools, what I see is Makita has the best cutting tools, like saws. Their miter saw, phenomenal. I think Makita has the best miter saw next to Festool. When it comes to power, though, DeWalt typically takes that edge. When it comes to having variety of tools that are of a higher quality, a little more precision than DeWalt, Milwaukee seems to take it. And again, from what I've been seeing, from my experience with all the Flex tools I've used, they have the Milwaukee precision and accuracy with some of that DeWalt power. Like, I've used the Milwaukee saws next to the Flex circular saw. This has been my baby. I love this thing. So, in my opinion, Flex has been pretty much the competitor that I've been looking for. I think they have terrible marketing, though. Between me and you, I think they have the worst marketing, which is partially why they got kicked out of Lowe's. But their tools and overall are amazing. I'm missing a lot of chats. Hey man, you gotta start somewhere. The Hercules miter saw is the best bang for your buck. When it comes to the best bang for your buck as far as cost and miter saws, I will have to say the Hercules is the best. But when it comes to stuff inside of my shop, I love the idea of forward rails. It allows me to put like my miter saw stand all the way up against the wall. It's really nice on job sites too. So forward rails for shop work, sometimes on job sites, and then the Hercules 12-inch is probably the best you can get because it's a copy of the DeWalt. You know, maybe a little bit not as smooth, but other than color, it's not really much difference. That seems good. Let's make this cut, and then I'll raise up my 2 benches and bring them together and see how good that seam looks. Then I'll drill my pocket holes, sand everything up, and then go into the actual finishing process. God, I wish I had a way to have the chats read out to me. Yeah, everything in my shop is on wheels. If you haven't seen my shop, bandsaw, drill presser on wheels. The lower cabinet on the drill press actually comes off. It's held on with toggle clamps, so I can always lower my drill press lower. Bandsaws on wheels. That is a material cart bench. Essentially, it stores a bunch of scraps on the backside. That cubby right there is for 4x8 sheets of plywood, but doubles as an entire bench. But the whole thing is on wheels, so I can actually move it around the shop. My hand tool bench is on wheels. My jointer, I built a low profile base for it, so I can move my jointer around but keep it low down to the ground. I built a planer cart that's on wheels, and then my miter saw cart is also on wheels with the Festool dust extractor down below, but it has folding wings. Let me turn this a little bit. Oop. Doesn't fold up with scraps in the way. Folding wings like April Wilkerson and like everyone else on YouTube, but I added one other feature. There's extendable rails outside of it, so I can expand the capacity. So like I try to put everything inside the shop on wheels to make everything mobile as possible. Yeah, my workbench, my main one, this one is 4x6. I have that one over there that is a 3x5. Then a smaller one up front that's a 2x4. The 2x4 can fit down all the alleys in the shop and pretty much wheel all the way around. But this one, I added another feature that actually expands out to make it longer. And then all of them have a jack system installed, so all these benches are adjustable height. So after I cut this edge, I'm gonna raise that bench up to the proper height to meet this slab. And yeah, modularity is king. Making furniture and trying to sell it is definitely a fun process. I would say I get the most success doing, like, again, custom cabinets, built-ins and bookshelves and stuff like that. It's kind of what this is for. It's for a set of bookshelves and cabinets at a client's house. I love making furniture though. I'll say a dining table is the one thing I haven't made yet, but the one thing I want to make the most. Done a few doors, done a few coffee tables, end tables, but a full dining table is on my bucket list. Yeah, I reached out recently to a bunch of real estate agents, a couple different interior designers. My issue is, I guess, either in my area, I'm not finding a lot of high-end clients or realtors. You know, I'm a finished carpenter by trade, so before I became a woodworker and went out on my own with my own business, I did doors, windows, baseboard, crown molding, decks, fences, and stuff like that. But finding clients that actually want, you know, coffered ceilings or custom built-ins, it's not as readily available as somebody that wants you to patch them inside of their house. And you lucky son of a gun, I am wishing I can do dining tables. Because one, I'm doing these cabinets. Built them, go install them. It sucks. You gotta level everything. Dining table install is literally drop it in. Bring in your legs and you tighten everything up. Give it a good buffing before you leave. You know, that's my dream. I would love to do full-time tables. And I'm currently in VA, Norfolk area, 757. So I'll do that made custom board game done. And see, also I know a buddy who owns a card shop. So he was telling me I should make like deck boxes, dice trays. But my thing is, like, I don't know. Without a client that wants something, it's kind of hard for me to make a product and think that it's going to sell a lot. Because I can go make something, but it might be $300-$400. Is that a marketable project? Should I make it out of plywood instead of hardwood? How can I make it sellable without making it too custom that I need a client before I build it? You can make... And again, somebody told me that it's partially why I want to get a 3D printer, so I can kind of trying to step out to like making little figurines and stuff like that, because I have a buddy who does have a card shop. So yeah, trying to think about how I can spread my... You guys are messaging so fast. Yeah, that's exactly why I want to do tables. I'm 31 right now, and installs are kicking my ass. One, I think I did a deck probably like 3 months ago, and I'm not feeling too old for that. I did a bunch of LVP flooring. Tired of that too. I would love to be able to bring in again set of leg bases. I like shop work though, so like even though this is a cabinet install, I have to install the cabinets too, but I get to spend time inside of my shop and charge them for it. So it's not full shop work like building the table and just dropping it off. I'm more of a 50-50 mix for most of my work. You could advertise them at a shop. And yeah, see, again, I'm trying to think about how I can do that. You guys are messaging so fast, I'm going to get anything done. Dude, I did really high-end remodel. And yeah, see, that's why I started in high-end remodels. Again, I think the average houses that I typically work in range anywhere from low-end 650 to like 1.3, 1.4 million dollars. So like, I work for a lot of high-end clients, but it's like, again, I'm typically working either for a builder who is builder grade. Charles trying to say, hey man, your clients would appreciate a coffer ceiling being, added in here. Or hey, instead of doing a basic ugly 2-piece crown, you can actually break it down, and break it down the entire architrave for your casing. And those type of pitches don't really do too well when most of the contractors are looking at strictly budget versus, quality. So I have to meet in the middle. Occasionally I would get one contractor who might ask me, say, hey, this client wants a custom built-in and maybe like a hidden door or something cool. But for the most part, it's basic, door window installs, occasionally a kitchen here and there. And occasionally they might ask me to build something. All right, let me move this toolbox. You know what, guys? I'm sorry. I do have to take a quick leak before I continue. Yeah, I'm missing like half y'all chats. Both of you guys are entertaining each other inside the comments. Get those. It almost makes me feel like I need somebody in here to be reading the chat to me. There's no way I can catch everything sliding past the screen. Oh, I appreciate it. Look at you telling people to like my stream. I greatly appreciate all that support. Me and my dog both subscribe. I greatly appreciate that too. Again, that's my whole reason to doing these live streams. My hope is, one, I can build a more direct connection with people who are subscribing to my channel, explain a little bit more about what I do, who I am, etc. Alright. So now this next part, I need to raise the bench top up to get these two countertops to meet each other and see how the seam itself looks. Hopefully I'm happy with it. If I'm not, my only other idea to get a perfect seam would be probably clamp a straight edge along both of these and then take a router like right in between them to shave both sides at the same time. Don't want to have to do that, but we'll see. But also, now I can show you guys the cool feature of the bench. You take the handy dandy crank, and now I can bring the benches to the exact same height. Roughly the same height. My garage floor, unfortunately, is not flat. But and yeah, the problem is the benches are not coplanar with each other. Let's see, what can I do about that? The joint is straight, but can't get the benches to be exactly in plane with each other. So it's gonna be a pain in the ass when I assemble this tomorrow on site. And yeah, what I was thinking about is when I assemble it, I'm gonna end up doing pocket holes along here, flipping it over, and probably attaching some blocks underneath so I can actually pull it together with clamps before I throw in the pocket screws. I need to check and make sure that my circular saw cut, because yeah, this is straight, but now I need to make sure that this is 90 degrees to make sure that meets up nice and good. And then I can go into the lovely process of sanding both of these. Oh yeah, I know I missed a lot of, yeah, I could shim this one corner up. And if you guys haven't seen, I can show you guys real quick how the bench works. It's a jack in the center. Also, I've been wanting to ask another woodworker, what would they do about this? So it's a jack in the center, and then I have miter folded legs that have posts in there, and these posts are connected, and then they attach to the bench. So when it lifts up, it can go up and down legs unevenly because the jack is only in the center. So what I was thinking is probably replacing that 1 2x4 with like a larger piece of plywood, so maybe it spreads the, jacking across the whole thing. Or when I jack it up, I can pre-drill holes in here and have, a dowel set at 36, 48. Pretty much just have holes drilled in this. So once I get to the 36, I put a dowel and get them all set up. Or I can go with a knob system and probably add a piece of steel in here so the knob can then tighten up against the steel. That way I can, unevenly set the bench. I haven't really thought about what I want to do to actually finish that part up, but I can raise the benches. So I've seen systems like that with 4 jacks. Oh my god, that'd be a pain in the dick. I guess you could, but how would you jack them all at the same time? Onboard charger tank, and then one that's empty, and all you have to do is shift press. Oh, see, that getting too complicated right there, buddy. I am a carpenter by trade, which is why those posts are made of wood. I thought about trying to weld something together to do that, because that'll probably be another thing. I'll probably keep it from giving, but I'm getting ready to do the same thing with my work truck to lift a camper shell. Oh, that's pretty dope. Okay. So that cuts straight. Oh, there goes my square. That's what I was looking for. I want to check the squareness of the. I bet there's a wedge lock that would save. See, my biggest issue with woodworking is I am terrible with hardware. A wedge lock. See, if I look that up though, it'll probably make a lot of sense. But like, I am not the one to know the hardware that's out there available. That's good. All right, so yeah, that will work for the seam. The only thing is on the job site, I'm not going to have benches this size. I do have a small, like 2 foot by 4 foot bench up at my job site, but that doesn't really help me with a 16 foot long countertop. I have a 12 foot bench inside of my box truck, so I'll probably assemble it inside the truck and then set a set of calls or something right here to make sure everything's nice and flat. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun project tomorrow. I shit you not. Getting this a seam together. I probably almost want to throw some dowels on it. Mechanical, electrical. And see, yeah, that's what I'm missing. I have no engineering skills. I don't have the mechanical aspect of building stuff. Which, unfortunately, to build most stuff, probably should have a little bit of mechanical know-how. Again, that's what limits me to furniture and things with wood. Because if I try to build like I don't know, you've probably seen them, like people that make like hidden blades and a whole bunch of complex mechanisms and stuff. That is where my skill set will have me lost, trying to figure out how everything needs to go together. Wood joints don't lie. They do. Wood does move. But, that's about it. 1/8 of an inch, give or take, over a season. I can figure that out. Doesn't lie to me. I cut it to what size. And yeah, see, that's the other thing. My dad is a mechanic. This is his garage. I converted it into a wood shop. Everything in those cabinets up there is all of his car tools. I myself hate cars. I was the kid that was forced to be out here, on Saturday when I wanted to watch cartoons. And yeah, cars are just not my thing. See, that has 120 grit on it. I'm gonna sand this up, water pop it, and then I can go into this is actually a little rough. I might just hit this with 80 grit, then water pop it, then do 120 because I'm gonna stain it. I don't want to go over 150. So actually, yeah, I'm gonna start at 80. Oh yeah, tensegrity tape. See, that is something I wanted to do so bad, but then I looked at trying to figure out the cable length. It would be me completely guessing, and I would be pissed off. But I love those tensegrity tables. It looks so freaking cool. Again, as a furniture maker, I love to make furniture, but again, it's kind of hard for me to justify building a lot of stuff without either a client directly already wanting it. Because my biggest fear is if I spend, 3 weeks building something, even if the client will love it and they may want it, the issue is they might want it in walnut or cherry. The same idea, now I have to either rebuild it or they might want it taller or shorter. So I like to build stuff once I actually have a client for it. Unless I'm just in my shop doing something, out of whimsy or something to, show you guys. Yeah, we'll start with 80 grit. Yeah, I might have to, because the amount of people that I have chatting right now, I might have to get somebody out here to read chat for me. Because I actually feel really bad I'm missing a lot of stuff. It's kind of hard for me to catch every single chat. Really appreciate you, boss man, and glad I met you, and hope you have a great day, boss man. And enjoy your holidays. If I don't do another live stream before Christmas, I hope you enjoy your holidays. To you and the missus. Also, I post every day on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Typically how my videos work, all my long format videos are all on YouTube. My live streams are all on YouTube. TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook get all my short form content. So they're slightly ahead, probably about like 2 projects ahead of YouTube. But YouTube, again, is where all my long format content goes.
But it gives me the ability to stand it up,
do the water popping process. Right now, we got to do that stuff. And again, they put me early testament or countertop. So hopefully the filtering the handle these houses almost that's iron. See if steam and pressure and pull it up. I'm actually turning my back before the grease starts. Alright, that's one down. And I'm going to need to pull my vacuum out from underneath my miter saw for it to reach the other one. Go ahead and bring the bench back down. And actually, let me go ahead and spread some water on this one. I don't have a spray bottle here inside the shop, so my version of water popping is just a little bit of water on the top. And then I'm going to smear the water around nice and evenly. If I have too much up there, then I'll come back and wipe it off with a rag. Whole point of water popping is to raise the grain. Good morning from Finland. God, yeah, it's like 10:30 at night here. 11 o'clock actually. But good morning. A tabletti. I'm making this is going to be a butcher block countertop for a cabinet set that I'm installing. So all I did today was cut that in square, get rid of the round over, sanded it. I'm going to go ahead and stain it tonight, so tomorrow I can put the actual finish on it before I install it. Today I was at the job site and I installed all the base units. Now I need to put the countertop on so I can do the upper units. So my goal is to have this stained tonight so I can put a finish on it in the morning. It's probably just going to be a teak oil. Yeah, I just want to water pop it because this is going to be a desk in a client's office area. It's probably going to have like coffee mugs and stuff in there. So I want to water pop it since it's not getting a polyurethane. I think we agreed on a teak oil for the finish so the client can easily maintain it. So yeah, definitely want to water pop it. To prevent any of those fuzzies from popping up. Now this one's all wet down, I'm about to sand this other one, and then I can switch grits and knock down those fibers. Actually, I need to check my phone too, make sure the battery isn't about to die. And I do need to check my computer. I was downloading some videos that I'm about to edit tonight before I go to sleep. My bad. I accidentally closed the stream out. The fuck? No, I guess I'll leave that for you. That's pretty weird. Alright, let me check my computer real quick and then I can go ahead and sand up this other top. What do you mean it's not available? literally didn't download like 2 videos, and I gotta sit here and figure out which videos didn't download. That's gonna be a tomorrow project. Specifically why I don't like computers. Downloading a bunch of videos for me to edit. Typically, I'll take, 3-4 hours of footage, download it onto my computer, edit it down to 30 minutes, then take it over to my tablet to do my final editing for all my videos. And it is downloaded like 27 out of 35 videos. But none of the videos have names or titles. So I gotta search through and figure out which ones are downloaded, which ones aren't downloaded, and have all that fun. So that's probably not gonna be tonight. Now I need to wet the surface. And I just had an idea. I think what I'm going to do is probably bring a 10-foot 2x4 with me to the job site tomorrow. I have a 2-foot by 4-foot workbench. And I'm trying to screw the 2x4s to the bench to make the bench longer. That way I can actually do the seaming I need to do on these countertops. It's going to be a way to make a shorter bench longer, essentially. I have some 10-foot 2x4s in the shop. So that'll make putting this together on site a lot easier. And then I can come back with 120 grit. The slab the camera's on right now is about dry. I can sand that one up. And then I can go ahead and stain these. That's nice and wet. So now we can switch back to this one and change out our sandpaper. Take another quick leak. That slab underneath the camera is still wet. I might switch to go ahead and stain that one. Whew. Let's see, what can I put up under this while I stain it? That way I can stain the edge. Excuse me, stain the edges. But I don't want to start staining until I sand that other one. This one still looks a little too wet to sand. About to hit it with a rag. Let's see, where's my foam percentage at? We got 30%. We might be able to get like another 30 minutes, give or take. So I probably should, you know what? I got another 30 minutes, give or take, before my phone dies. So I am going to let this keep drying. Probably going to go ahead and stain this one. That way, at least on the stream, we sanded and prepped one. You guys will have a gist of how I got there. Gloves. Grab a rag. Where's my 5-in-1? I put that right here. Let's see, and a little scrap piece of wood to stir this up. I'll use one of the dowels we made earlier, because who cares if the dowel itself has stain on it. So I don't have a stir stick in here. Oh, that's pretty full. I need something skinnier than a dowel. Scrap piece of plywood will do. I will say that festival sander is pretty amazing. Like the lack of dust that's actually on the surface after that sand is amazing. I hate how it glares like that. You guys can't even see the countertop. I really think it's because... Yeah, I need to paint my workbench. or go back over like some black melamine or something. I almost wish these lights had dimmers on them. That's a pretty big rag. Ooh, oh, that did not go as smooth as I wanted it to. Tip for you guys, don't pour your stain on top of your workpiece, or you might end up with mistakes. You want to smear that as soon as possible though, so it doesn't blotch up. Alright, I'm going to start down here. Oh, looks like I might actually need more stain than this. The camera is not doing this any justice. See, I'm probably going to end up cutting off a good portion of this down here. So I don't really need to do the end. And this is actually the back side, this edge I'm doing. So don't really need to do this either. But now I need to slide it over to that side of the bench so I can get that front edge and also reposition the camera without getting a ton of stain on it. Success. And with this side being the front, I want to try to go underneath at least, an inch, up under here. I think that is how much overhang this is going to get. Nobody's really going to be sticking their head up underneath the countertop, but you don't want to have, a noticeably unfinished area. That screams unprofessional, unintentional. I will say it's probably not the most flattering color. It's like a really dark color. See if it'll soak in anymore. Don't look like it. All right. That right there is one slab down. Thank you. We're going to hit it with the teak oil in the morning. You want to let the stain actually sit for like 12 hours before you actually apply a finish. Because again, stain is just color. The teak oil will be the finish that keeps it from getting scuffed up and dirty. So I'm actually going to slide this down just a little bit. This one should be dry enough for us to sand. Yeah. My earmuffs, they're all the way down there. This is a butcher block countertop for a set of cabinets I'm installing. So I just need to sand them up, stain them, so I can actually wake up early enough tomorrow to put a finish on it before I go install it tomorrow morning. So staying up pretty late, getting them all sanded. I have one over there already stained. This one it's already been water popped. It's going through its final sand before I stain her up. I might try to stay up for like the next 10, 12 hours and then put a finish on it, but more than likely I'm gonna get all these prepped, stained, and then wake up around like 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow, put a coat of teak oil on it, package it up, and throw it in the truck. Yeah, see, I wish this was like a shop project where I didn't have to go through sanding, water popping, and all the other good stuff. But this is for cabinet install for a client, so I have to do all the fun stuff and sand it, prep it, stain it, and it's unfortunately 2 8-foot long countertops, so it's not a small piece of butcher block. There's a lot of sanding involved. We went all the way up through the grits. We've water popped it. This is the final pass at 120 before the stain. So We're almost at the finish line. And good luck on your project tomorrow. Nice and smooth. Now we can grab our other glove and stain that one too. Let me check my phone battery, make sure it's not about to die in the middle of this last process. We have 22%. We might have enough time. So we'll probably end the stream after I get this last one stained up. I need some more blocks to put up under this 3/4 inch scrap. There we go. All that does is give me a way to get my fingers up underneath so I can stain the whole thing. Alright, last time I poured this in there, I failed horribly. Wish me luck this time. I could always pour it somewhere else, but I think that was just a bad pour for the first one. Nope, that's not any better. I've actually never had problems pouring stain before directly out of the can. This time, she has failed miserably. Good thing the floors are concrete. This end, however, will be buttoned up against the window, so you'll kind of see some of it from the outside. So I will stain the end grain over here, but I'll probably end up doing a cut on this when I get to the actual job. And then this side would be the front. So we would want to get our fingers up underneath again, at least 1 inch to 3/4. Because I believe, again, that is about the overhang this countertop has over the cabinets. Just in case somebody gets nosy and sticks their head up underneath the cabinet. You want to also make sure if you touch it with your hand that you wipe off anywhere that you touched. And just like that, we have 2 butcher block countertops sanded and stained. I'll come back with a clean rag and wipe all of them down in just a moment. And how I take care of all my rags, I have a metal toolbox. I'm going to sit this on and let this dry out. I'm going to rinse out this bowl and kind of let that dry out before it goes inside the trash can. I really don't like this color, but that's what the clients chose for their doors and stuff inside of their house. Let's see, where's my phone percentage at? I'm at 15%, guys. And yeah, stain the shit out of them to make them shit color. But yeah, so that's gonna be pretty much it for the stream. We have 2 butcher block countertops, a total of 16 feet that I'm going to be installing inside of some cabinets tomorrow. It's going to be in a video. It's going to be coming out much later, but I appreciate you guys for kind of hanging out with me tonight to kind of see how I'm prepping for that job. And we do have a few more projects that I will do on live stream. I plan to, I need a wall over here to kind of go around my panel and some of that miscellaneous plumbing over there. So that's going to be a live stream. I had 2 other projects I wanted to do. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but I have a couple more live streams that'll probably be coming up around Christmas, right after Christmas, give or take. So again, I appreciate everybody who's been hanging out with me. Definitely let me know how you guys have enjoyed the video. Leave me a like, comment, subscribe. Check out all my other social media, being TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.